Now we're getting ready to install this trolling motor right here, and so I thought it's the perfect time to discuss the benefits of using a lithium ion boat battery for a trolling motor battery. Now we're going to be using this Epic batteries. It's a 24 volt, and one thing I like about this battery is that it comes with this feature here. These are mounting things that are built right into the case of the battery, so you don't need a battery tray, you don't need a strap. Now me personally, I think that's a legit feature because you don't have to deal with the battery tray and a strap. With a battery tray and a strap, even though it's strapped in, the battery still moves around quite a bit. So having it mounted straight to the deck with the case of the battery, I think that's pretty cool. Now probably the number one feature of a lithium battery for a trolling motor is going to be the constant available power, because with a lead acid battery you have diminishing power. As you use the battery, it gets less and less and less. So as you use the battery, say at 100%, you're getting all of the amperage that it can put out. But at 75, 50, 30%, that lead acid battery is only providing a fraction of what it was putting out when it was fresh. Now a lithium ion battery, that is going to put out constant power all through its cycle. So whether this battery is charged 100% or if it's charged 40%, it's going to give you the same amount of power that's going to go straight to your trolling motor. So your trolling motor is going to have more power all the time. And I do know that this is a Minn Kota, and in the book it does have that clause about using lithium ion batteries and 85% versus a lead acid battery. So we'll talk about that in another video. With this constant available power, it's almost like you're able to use the trolling motor for a longer period of time or get more run time out of the trolling motor versus the lead acid batteries. Obviously there's going to be a lot of variables in the actual run time that you're going to get out of the trolling motor. Things like how long is your boat, how heavy is the boat, how much gear do you have, what electronics are you running at the same time off of the battery, what kind of current and wind are you fighting with the trolling motor. Is it running at 100% capacity, or are you running at 30% of the trolling motor and it allowing you to use it the way you want to use it? But with all those variables, for the most part, it's almost like you would double your use. Like if you are able to run a half a day on lead acid batteries and then need to charge your batteries back up that night before you can run the next day, a lot of people are able to run a half day on the lithium ion and be able to sometimes get an entire other half day out of the trolling motor the next day without having to recharge their batteries. Which, when it comes to charging the battery, this is also a huge feature because you can charge a lithium battery in only like 3 hours or even a few minutes depending on how low the battery has been depleted. Whereas a lead acid battery might take you 10 hours to 24 hours to charge the battery all the way back up to 100%. And not to mention that a lithium ion battery like these Epics, they come with built-in heaters. So if you're in a colder climate or something like that, they will actually take power from the charging system and it will heat the battery until it gets to a safe temperature and charge itself safely, which is going to help in extending the life of the battery. So this constant available power is a major feature, not to mention the longevity that you get out of a lithium ion battery. A lot of times you're going to see a lead acid battery make it maybe 5 years, and a lithium ion battery, people are getting 15 years out of the battery, sometimes even more. A lot of them also carry a warranty of up to, like this one has an 11-year warranty. So you're getting an 11-year warranty versus a 2-year or 1-year warranty out of a regular lead acid battery. Some high-end lead acids will give you a 3-year warranty, but again, the batteries usually last about 5 years. This kind of brings us back to the conversation of the constant available power, because as a lead acid battery breaks down, you lose power. So it'll actually drain a lot quicker the more cycles that are used out of the battery, opposed to a lithium ion battery that's going to just always have the same amount of power available until it's dead. Now on a normal lead acid battery, the lifetime of the battery is normally only going to be a few hundred cycles or maybe 1,000 cycles on a really high-end battery. Whereas this battery right here, you're going to get about 3,500 plus cycles out of this battery. Now this life cycle discussion is a pretty big deal when you're talking about a trolling motor, because like we said, as the battery gets older, the amount of power that it can provide over a certain period of time is going to diminish. So on a 2-year-old battery, the amount of runtime that you get is going to be a lot less than when you have a brand new battery. Whereas the lithium, that runtime is going to be the same all the time. And this is probably one of the biggest features with the constant available power that a lot of people love when using a lithium ion battery for a boat battery or for your trolling motor, because let's say you have a 7-year-old lithium ion battery, you're going to have the same amount of runtime out of that battery as you did when it was brand new. Whereas if you had a, say, 5-year-old lead acid battery, your runtime is going to be a lot less than when you originally got the setup. Which this could also lead us into the discussion of a brushless versus a brushed trolling motor, but we're talking about the batteries right now and the benefits of the battery opposed to the trolling motor and the benefits of a brushless versus a brush trolling motor, because you'll have the same effect with a brush trolling motor versus a brushless. That brushless is going to have that same longevity to it, and you're not going to diminish in your runtime and the amount of holding power or speed that you get out of the trolling motor, versus a 2 to 3 year old brushed trolling motor is going to be a lot weaker based on how you've used it over the years. Same thing for your batteries. The lithium ion batteries are going to have the same amount of power available as when you first bought the batteries, versus the lead acid, which are going to have this diminished runtime or available power, or how long or how fast it's going to run your trolling motor. The weight of the battery is also going to be a huge factor when we're talking about the differences as well. See, the lead acid battery of like a 24 or a 27 is going to be 40, 50, 60 pounds per battery. Whereas the lithium ion battery, the single battery, this is a 24 volt battery, this battery is only going to weigh 48 pounds. So our single 24 volt Epic battery only weighs 48.4 pounds. Whereas our Group 24 lead acid battery at 12 volts weighs 41 pounds. You would need 2 of those lead acid batteries, which would be 82 pounds, plus the battery trays to mount them. You're going to be, maybe 85 pounds. So you're losing 35 pounds, taking 35, 40 pounds out of your boat by going with a single lithium. And if you had a 27 or a Group 31, a Group 27 battery, lead acid is going to weigh 55 to 60, 70 pounds. So if you were to put one 50-pound battery in your boat or 2 60-pound batteries in your boat, you're going to take out 70 pounds from your boat. That's a lot of weight. Where, a lot of people are regulating the weight in their boat with the people and the gear and how much fuel they carry. If you can save 70 pounds or 80 pounds by just using one single battery, that's a big deal when we're talking about weight on a boat, especially a smaller boat like a flats boat or a bass boat, where you have to be very strategic on your weight and what you're doing with the boat, because it's a small boat, which makes this weight factor a huge feature. And one other super cool feature about a lithium battery like the Epics here is they have a very nice mobile app that you can connect to the battery with your phone and see all kinds of information about the battery. You can see things like the actual percentage of charge the battery has. You can see the individual cells of the battery. You can see the temperature of the battery. You can even see how many cycles the battery has had on the app, which to me is a really nice feature to have, because the more information you have about your boat and the components in your boat, the better prepared you will be. You won't be going out on the water with a half-charged battery at, say, 40%. Instead, you'll have all the information right there, knowing that you have a fully charged battery ready to go out for the day, and there won't be any surprises with your trolling motor dying in the middle of a drift while you're trying to fish.